Good evening and welcome to another edition of Tolland County Economy. I'm Drew Crandall, your host. Thanks for watching. One important dimension of human existence is socializing. For example, over 150,000 people live in Tolland County. During any given week, thousands of these residents, plus family members, friends, and visitors from elsewhere, visit Tolland County restaurants and attend events at banquet facilities in Tolland County. Joining me to talk about the world of banquet facilities is Asim Atem, owner of Villa Louisa in Bolton. With immigration such a big issue in the news today, I think you'll find Asim's story to be inspirational. Asim, thanks very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. First of all, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Romania.
Wow.
In Europe.
Okay. And for people who think of Europe as Germany or France or Spain, where is Romania located?
So Romania is right near Bulgaria and Ukraine.
Okay.
Hungary, we have a border with Hungary as well.
Okay. Great. And how long ago did you come over?
1988, so
okay.
That's 28 years,
yeah.
Almost 28.
Yeah. And how old were you when you came over?
I was just about 16. I was a couple of months before my 16th birthday.
Wow. Wow. Why did you come to the United States? Why didn't your family stay in Romania?
Well, we left Romania because the communism era was very hard. If anybody could run away from the communism era, everybody who had a chance, they did.
Yeah.
So we're one of the few lucky ones that were able to get away from that communism era.
Now, how were you able to get out of Romania when so many couldn't get out? Were there really big restrictions on who could leave the country?
Oh yes, oh yeah, definitely. You had to be approved by the police department to get a passport. When you were issued a passport, they would have to know where you're going, for how long you're going, why are you going.
Right.
So they would want to know all that stuff. We were able to leave Romania because my ethnic background, even though I was born in Romania, my dad was from Turkey. We had family in Turkey. So we were able to say that we're going to go visit his brother in Turkey. So that was our ticket out. That was our way out.
Okay. So you came to America at 15.
Pretty much, yes.
What was your picture of what America might be like as you came over, having never stepped foot here before?
Right, I've never been here before. The only thing we knew about America is what we saw in movies.
Right.
That's about it. Right. So it was a shock when we first came here. It was totally not we expected. Was very hard. It was very, very hard.
And I understand that a Catholic charity sponsored you in Texas when you first came here.
Yes, when we first arrived here, we were in Dallas, Texas.
And so the climate of Romania is similar to Connecticut.
Yes.
And so you were not used to heat like Dallas, Texas.
No. The first day we arrived in Dallas, we got dropped off at an apartment. And then second day in the morning, we were hungry, so we went shopping, me and my dad. And we walked for about 30, 40 minutes to find a store, and then 30, 40 minutes back with a few bags in our hands. So when we came back, we were like...
You were drenched.
Drenched, yes.
Yep. Drenched. So how did you end up from Dallas, Texas to Connecticut?
We had some family members in Connecticut, so we decided to move here a little bit closer to them.
So you settled in the Hartford area?
Yes.
And you ended up going to MCC?
Yes, I went to Hartford High School. I graduated there at a night program, an adult high school program. And then I graduated MCC in the culinary program.
Okay. And you didn't know English, just a few words when you came here, right?
Yeah, I knew just basic words. Hello, how are you?
Right. So how did you learn the English language?
Well, I was going to Hartford High School.
Okay.
And then just from working and talking to people, watching TV.
Right. And little did you realize that you would spend your career in food service, but you actually started as a dishwasher.
Yes,
right?
Yes, correct.
So talk about working your way up from the dishwasher to the owner.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that's quite a story. Yeah. When did you buy a Villa Louisa?
And June 2010 is when I took over the property.
And what led to you purchasing the property?
Well, I mean, I've been self-employed since I was 23.
Okay.
With a couple of people, a few different people in my life helped me.
Okay.
And I always did catering. Wherever I worked, we always did catering and banquets.
Okay.
So I really liked the Villa Louisa when I saw it. I liked it was in the countryside. It was a
Right.
beautiful location. It needed a lot of work, but I fell in love with it. So
Cool. Years ago, we had Don Fish on this show.
Nice.
He owns the Fish Family Farm right here
Yeah.
in Bolton. And he said he was on a school bus as a little kid, and he looked out the window and saw the farm and said, someday I'm going to own this farm.
Wow.
And he did. Same kind of story.
Yeah, very similar.
Yep. What was it like buying the business and diving into that responsibility? And it's a lot to handle.
Yes, I had, as I mentioned before, I had a little bit of experience owning a breakfast lunch place for a few years. And then back in 2005, I also purchased taste buds in East Hartford. So I already had some experience with banquets and catering. So for me, it was easy when I took over a Villa Louisa. I already had the experience and the knowledge what it takes.
Okay. Now, leading up to your purchase of the facility in 2010, you know, in the late 2000s, you know, the economy started to really soften. So it's a peculiar time to go buy a banquet facility.
Right.
Was it difficult? Was it a real stretch of faith?
It was. It took a little bit of time to go through the process with the mortgage but we did it.
I can see by the same token that perhaps the price of real estate had dropped, so that was to your favor.
Right, so that was to my favor, exactly. When I first saw Villa Louisa on the market was double the price.
Right.
So
Yep.
It worked out in my favor.
Yep. So what is a Villa Louisa for viewers who haven't heard of it or haven't seen it?
So a Villa Louisa, we do banquets, caterings, we do a lot of weddings. We do about 100 weddings a year. We specialize in weddings and corporate events. We do catering, so we do stuff on the road. If you need a luncheon for 12 people or a wedding for 300, 400, 500 people, we do it all.
Okay. But people may not drive by your place because it's really not on a main road. It's tucked up in the country, isn't it?
Yes. That's the beauty of it. It's the location. It's tucked away.
So compared to where the studio is here on Notch Road, or compared to Bolton Notch, where are you?
We're right off of Birch Mountain Road.
Okay.
So we're minutes away from the exit, but still away enough from the main roads.
Right. Do you have any opportunities, like for a wedding, to have outdoor events as well as indoor?
We can do outdoor ceremonies. We're not set up to do outdoor weddings yet.
Yeah.
That's on my things to do list. I want to build a pavilion so we can do outdoor weddings as well as indoor.
Sure. And I understand the original structure is 1890.
Right.
But then you added on someone added on a newer part of it.
So there was the initial property was built in 1890, and then one of the previous owners before me, they added onto the building in 1981, I think. It was when they added a large banquet hall that accommodates up to like 350, 400 guests.
And what kind of food do you serve there?
We do anything from Italian American. We lean towards that, but we do any cuisine. We do West Indian, we do Spanish, we do French, we do Middle Eastern, you name it.
Very multicultural.
Yes.
Now, going back to your childhood, what were some of your favorite foods that were served in Romania?
So going back to my childhood, my mom was one of the best chefs that anybody has met. But it was funny because I was not a good eater. My mom had a hard time feeding me. So if you asked me when I was 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, are you going to be a chef when you grow up? I would have laughed. I would have said no. Because I didn't like food.
Right. What are some classic Romanian dishes?
So now I love stuffed cabbage with polenta.
Okay.
That's traditional. We have a bunch of, we're very big in soup. We do almost every meal, every dinner, we have soup. We do a lot of different soups and a lot of different stews. So pretty much being in the communism era, being a poor country, we didn't have the luxury to meats, and so we had to deal with a lot of beans, cabbage, a lot of vegetables.
In terms of meat, what were the natural meats out there?
Pork was probably one of the main meats that people eat. Pork and chicken.
Sure. How many people do you employ?
I have right now 7 full-time employees and I think over 20 part-timers.
Sure. Who are your customers?
They're local people. They're most of the people are from Manchester, Vernon, Tolland, Hartford, Coventry, Andover, the surrounding towns around.
Sure.
Glastonbury.
Sure. Do you have seasonal peaks and valleys in your business cycle?
We get busy, come spring, we get busy with graduations, proms, then we start with weddings. The summertime is busy with weddings. October is probably our busiest month for weddings because of the foliage and because we're in the countryside, people love the foliage. And then we get busy in November with the holiday season.
Yeah, and you were telling me you had quite a busy December.
Yes, we had probably one of our record months in December. And one particular day, we fed over 2,300 people between the catering on the road and at our location.
Wow. What are the biggest joys of doing what you do?
I love the fact that I can make somebody's day. After somebody gets married, they compliment our food, they compliment our service. It makes me happy to know that even though it was stressful, even though it was hard, end of the day, we made somebody happy.
Right. I can imagine it's not just a matter of serving good food, but creating a whole experience.
Yes.
Not just for a couple going out for a romantic dinner, but for hundreds of people simultaneously.
Yes, and we have to serve everybody pretty much all at once.
I have a question. I've never seen what a kitchen at a banquet facility looks like, but how can you serve 300 meals at the same time with everything being warm? I don't know. I don't understand how that happens.
We have the right equipment, we have the right amount of people. So what we do, we start plating their meal probably about 10-15 minutes before it's served.
Okay.
So when as appetizer gets done or as their salad is done, their meal is already plated and ready to be served.
Okay. Wow. What are the biggest challenges?
The biggest challenge I find is employees, finding the right help, finding the right employees, the right team members, I should say, that fit in our culture. I care about our product. I care about our customers. I want to make sure we do the right thing.
Right.
I want to deliver everything plus more of what I promised to them.
Right.
And not everybody has that same attitude.
It sounds like you're meticulous with the details.
Yes.
And you have to be.
You have to, yes.
Yep. Wow. Are you currently hiring?
Yeah, we're always looking for help.
Right.
Definitely, yes. Actually, as a matter of fact, right now we're looking for another event and a wedding coordinator, sales manager.
Okay.
We always look for part-time servers, part-time dishwashers, banquet chefs, banquet cooks, always.
Okay. And what are some of the characteristics that you look for in employees?
They need to show me that they care and take pride in what they do, whether it's doing dishes, whether it's cooking, whether it's serving. They need to present themselves well and to prove to me that they care.
Right.
They care. That's the most important thing.
Right. Have you ever had an employee say, "That's not my job"?
Yes.
Doesn't that drive you nuts?
Yes,
you started as a dishwasher.
They got fired.
Yeah.
They didn't last too long.
You have to do what you have to do.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. What tips might you have for local businesses based on your years of experience, not only here in Bolton, but at the other facilities that you ran?
I think everybody should look at whatever they sell or whatever they make or whatever they cook or whatever their business is and say, would I purchase this? And make sure that you give the customers good value. Make sure you treat the customers the same way every time. Not one day good, one day bad. It needs to be consistent. I think those are some of the most important things. And if the customer loves you, they won't just come back themselves. They will bring their friends there.
Yep. Now, how do you find your suppliers for key products?
That's easy. I mean,
Okay.
and we're like, we have so many suppliers in the state of Connecticut. It's easy.
Right.
That is probably the easiest part.
Okay.
Finding supplies, it's probably the easiest part.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I can imagine, even compared to some parts of Texas. I mean, the population density here in Connecticut is so tight.
Right.
There are a lot of people and a lot of businesses right in our own backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. What tips might you have for local job hunters? We already said you need to be, have a good attitude.
Right. Present yourself well. Learn about the business that you're going
Right.
to work for, or if you learn about them as much as you can. So do a little bit of homework. See what their model is. See what they serve. And then present yourself. Show up earlier, not later.
Right. Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. If someone wanted to learn more about your business, do you have a website?
Yes, we do.
And what is that?
That is avilalouisa.com.
Okay. Could you repeat that, please?
avilalouisa.com.
Okay. I'm sure our viewers are seeing that website on the screen periodically, so I encourage them to visit the website. And getting off from your business a little bit, you operate the business in Tolland County. What do you like about living here?
I lived in Connecticut for more than I lived in Romania, so I consider this my home. It's everything. I love the people around. I love my customers. I love my employees. I've gotten used to everything that's here, so I love everything around me so much.
You know what's interesting, Asim, is as I've interviewed people through the years and asked them the same question, I find people here are passionate about the quality of life here.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes we don't appreciate how good it is.
No.
Until you go somewhere else and you realize what some other places around the world are like.
Yeah, I come across people all the time and they complain about the economy, they complain about the government. And of course, we all have stuff to complain about. But end of the day, I always tell them, as bad as it is here, it's still better than anywhere else out there.
Yep.
Based on my past experience.
Right. Have you had a chance, as busy as you are, to travel around the rest of the USA at all?
I've seen like a few parts. I've seen Florida, parts of Massachusetts, New York. I went to Canada a couple of times.
Sure.
Yeah, I've traveled a little bit.
Yep.
Not as much as I would like to, but.
You know what I find is Canada is very European.
Yes.
It's the closest you can get to Europe without getting on an airplane.
Yeah.
And going across the ocean.
Also, Boston is very European.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, that's true. Yep. Well, immigration has been in the news so much in a multitude of ways. If you don't mind, I'd like to ask you, what is your view of immigration and what do you see as reality out there as an immigrant yourself?
Right. I think the reality of things is we have to put our heads together, whether you're Republican or Democrat, and figure out what's the best way to a solution, to common goal.
Yep.
In my view, I don't think, for example, Donald Trump wants to kick everybody out. I think that's undoable because, first of all, it's going to cost a ton of money to send those people back, and they'll figure out a way to come back here because once they've been here, they're not going to want to let this go. So I think the best way to do this is to control our borders because we don't want the wrong people coming into our country. But the people that are here already, I think they should be allowed to become legal citizens. Of course, if they don't have a criminal record, I mean, we can't just allow anybody to
Right.
We have to check and make sure they don't have a criminal record. I think if you charge those people, they would gladly pay a large sum of money to become citizens, so that will bring revenue and help the government. And the other thing people don't realize, if we do kick all the immigrants out of this country, they don't realize that I don't even know if they will have strawberries. If they do, price is not going to be as cheap as it is now. Because a lot of the immigrants that are in this country, they work in farms and hard labor where most of us probably don't want nothing to do with.
Yep.
So,
I mean, we've watched what's happened in Europe with immigration recently from Syria and elsewhere.
yes, I mean, we definitely have to look at who's coming in we definitely want to control our borders better, definitely.
Because Germany sort of had a wide open door and they're paying the price for
Yes,
it.
yes, I mean, it's
a
horrible.
mess.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
You're trying to help people and in return you get bad.
Yep.
That's not good.
Yep. In a way, we're a little insulated from that because of the big oceans.
Because,
You know, geographically, people just can't come across the big pond as easily.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, they can come in from Mexico and Canada.
And a lot of people from Europe and other parts of the countries, or other parts of the world, travel to Mexico because they know that's the easiest way in.
Right. Now, looking back on your experience as an immigrant teenager, how did you feel when you came to America and when you came to Hartford, went to Hartford High School as an immigrant? How did you immerse yourself into the culture? Did you feel somehow that you were excluded? Or?
Yes, I did feel a little bit excluded. That was very hard and was a little bit shocking. And I didn't have my friends and I didn't have my family here. I did have a few family members, but that was the hardest part, getting over that first step until I made friends and until I got a job. We had coworkers. We started having a social life. That's the hardest part for anybody that comes. Their first few steps. And
you met your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yes.
Yes. So do you ever go back to Romania?
I do. I go every year or every other year.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Past couple of years, it's been kind of busy with the new business and trying to grow our business. It's been challenging to make time for vacation.
Right.
But I've been back.
Now, when you fly to Romania, how do you get there from here?
So
you leave Logan?
What I normally do, I travel to JFK.
Okay.
We take an airplane from there. We normally stop somewhere else, Italy or France or Germany. And then we take another airplane from there and go to Bucharest.
Okay.
So it's almost like a 24-hour trip between the time I leave here and the time I get back home.
And what is it like when you land in Bucharest and step out and enter your old country? What's it like?
It's a good feeling. I still love going back there. I would probably never move back there for any reason.
Right.
But I still enjoy going back home. I still consider that being my first home.
Yep. So I understand that Romania used to be communist. It's now democratic.
Yes.
But compared to the democracy that you see here in the USA, it's
a lot worse there. It's a lot more corrupt. It's a lot more difficult there than it's here. It's totally different.
And you were telling me there are more than just two political
parties.
parties.
Oh yeah, there's multiple. I don't even know. I think there are at least about 10, 12 of them.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Yep.
Anybody can just get up and say, okay, I'm going to open my own party.
Yep. So I suspect that you really relish your freedom here.
Yes.
And even though you came over here at 15, you still probably had some experiences with communism that will stay with you the rest of your life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you've experienced the difference firsthand.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. What do you see up ahead? You mentioned that someday you'd like to have an outdoor pavilion for outdoor events.
My goal for the future is to expand our company and grow our company. We want to be able to do more catering throughout the whole state, not just in a 30-mile radius. We want to get as close as possible to targets part of Boston market because it's a huge market there. So that's that's what my future
Okay.
holds.
When you cater off-site, whether near or afar, do you pre-cook a lot of the food at your facility, or do you actually cook it on site? You bring your own equipment, or you use somebody's kitchen?
Depends on what the occasion is, or depends on what food they order.
Okay.
Sometimes we cook everything at our facility. We go set it up. We deliver it. We have Cambro boxes they hold the food hot.
Okay.
They hold the food at the right temperature.
Wow.
We have ice boxes, so I ice down the cold stuff so
Sure.
it stays at the right temperature. And we do that. A lot of times we cook right at the facility. We don't do too many events where they don't have a kitchen,
Okay.
where we have to bring our equipment there.
Okay.
But sometimes we do. Sometimes we do.
What are the favorite dishes that people tend to ask for? Have you seen any patterns?
No, we do everything.
Yep.
So I mean, we do a lot of different dishes because we're in a banquet. So obviously, when we do weddings, you're always gonna have your prime rib. You're always gonna have your stuffed shrimp. You're always gonna have some type of chicken dish. So what we noticed recently, it's an increase in vegetarian, vegan meals,
Okay.
gluten-free,
Okay.
dietary restrictions, a lot of lactose intolerant and allergies.
Yep.
So that's what we're dealing with
Sure.
lately.
You know, it's interesting culturally. You were exposed to down south a little bit with Texas, but as I understand it, traditionally, wedding receptions down south do not have a big meal. They just have dessert. And my wife and I were at a wedding in Florida. They didn't serve a meal. It was just dessert.
Oh, wow.
And up here, of course, you get the full,
you get
full meal.
You get a full meal, especially
Which is
if
good
you
for
come,
you if you're in the
especially
catering
if you come in
business.
my place,
Right.
you walk out full.
Very cool. Well, this has been a delight. The half hour has flown by. What is your website one more time?
avilalouisa.com.
Great. Thank you, Asim, for being on the show.
Thank you for
Have
having me.
a great year. You're very
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in. We're now on the air for 11 years. This is our 11th year. Please visit our website at tollandcountyeconomy.com. That's tollandcountyeconomy.com. We also have an e-newsletter that we send periodically, so we'd love to keep in touch with you. If you have suggestions for future guests, if you have questions for guests, if you can't track down a past guest and you'd like to introduce yourself to them, help yourself to our website, tollandcountyeconomy.com. And remember that Asim is hiring. They have a variety of jobs, from food service and cooking to sales management, event coordination. So if you have a passion for that kind of business, you have a great local connection right here. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.